All right, fellas, I'm excited about today's episode because we are talking about something that I have gone through. I'm curious if you have ever questioned whether you are on the right path to achieve your goals. Um, Sometimes it seems like your current results are going in the actual complete opposite direction of the destination that you're trying to get to achieve your goals. And so, in this episode, we're going to discuss how to turn some of these current challenges and obstacles into triumphs and what you can do to ensure that you're actually on the right path to achieve your goals, even when it seems like you are going in the complete opposite direction of those goals today on Elite Performance with Dr. Brad. Let's get it. All right, fellas. So, today we're going to be talking about um, don't let the wrong direction or moving in the opposite direction of your goals take you off the right path. Sometimes we're on the right path, even though we're going the wrong direction. And so we're going to break that down a little bit today. But the reality is, oftentimes we get discouraged. It is not uncommon for us to get discouraged when we're going after our goals. As a matter of fact, it's easy to get discouraged when pursuing our goals. I know this is something that I have struggled with. You have this crystal clear vision of how you want life to be. You have this crystal clear vision of your goals. You write them down. You do all the things that you're supposed to do in terms of the tasks and the actions that you need to achieve the goals. You review the goals, but sometimes you lose hope along the way. And it's because we meet resistance as we go toward those goals. We meet obstacles, we meet challenges. And oftentimes it's not just a challenge, it's literally we are going in the opposite direction of where our destination is. Our destination is east, and we are literally going west in the complete opposite direction of where we want to go and what we want to achieve. And this causes discouragement and a lack of hope, and it challenges your faith. And you wonder, am I on the right path? And this can be in a lot of different areas of our life. This could show up in our relationships, specifically our relationship with our wives, our marriage, our relationship with our children. We have goals to be better husbands. We have goals to get closer with our wives to build our relationship. And we might make this decision to go on the path to build the relationship. And as you go on that path, it seems as though you start going the complete opposite direction of where you want the relationship to be, where you want the marriage to be, where you want your relationship with your children to be. You might be thinking, I really need to spend more time with them. But then it seems as you make that decision and start going through the actions and behaviors to do that, it's like we're going in the opposite direction. We're spending less time, or they don't want to spend time, or you have health goals. You want to get in shape. You want to get in better health. But it looks like the scale, despite you feeling like you're on the right path, the scale is going in the wrong direction. We have health and financial goals. You may want to get out of debt. You may want to achieve a certain financial goal, and the debt is climbing. The results are going in the opposite direction of where you want to go. Or your career, you want to have a promotion, you want your business to thrive, but things are going in the opposite direction. And so this becomes a challenge. I've experienced this in multiple areas of my life. Sometimes it's day to day, minute to minute, losing this faith and this hope. And so, our aspiration, when it comes to our goals, we literally want the path of least resistance as possible. This is just how we're made up. We want to be comfortable. We don't want any resistance in our path toward our destination. So the shortest path between 2 points is a straight line. So if you really define those 2 points, that the 1 point is where you are now. The other point is the destination of the goal that you're trying to reach. We want as straight a line as possible to get there. We want to be able to hop on the toll road. So, I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We've got a toll road where it's literally a straight shot. I live north. It's a straight shot down into Dallas. So when I'm on my commute in the morning, I try to take the straight shot. And I'm willing to pay more money for the straight shot to get right to where I have to go. I have other options to be able to get to work, but it's just going to be more of a winding road. It's the same thing with our results. We want a straight shot. We want as little resistance as possible. We want whatever's going to keep us on the straight line. We don't want to take the scenic route. We don't want an obstacle. We don't want traffic. We don't want detours. We don't want, we just don't want resistance. And the reality is that very similar to us driving and commuting, sometimes you are forced to get to a railway crossing and you got to wait on the train that day. There's traffic. There's detours on my road to work right now. There's a big time construction that they're saying is going to be, almost for the next year. But here's the thing, those detours, those big orange signs that say detour, do not cross here, they may be annoying, but check this out. They're there for a reason. They're there to keep me safe because they have so many constructions and potholes and things they're doing construction there. If I avoid the detour, I have now put myself in harm's way. It's very similar to life. Like it's this straight line path comes at a cost. And we want things to just be straight line, but the reality is sometimes it takes resistance. And so what the challenge behind this whole thing is the way we think. We look at resistance, we look at these obstacles, we look at what appears for us to be going the opposite direction of our destination. We look at all these things as bad. We look at the scenic route and the detours and the obstacles as bad. And it makes sense up front because we don't want these unexpected things, particularly when it looks like we're going in the complete opposite direction. Like we look at it as bad, and I get it. I've been there. I understand. But here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned over time is that this resistance, these challenges, these obstacles, these detours, they really aren't bad. It's part of the path. It's part of the process. And what I've learned is that very similar to working out in the gym, I love the analogy of working out to life because you can't grow without resistance. You cannot grow. The muscles will not grow if you don't put weight on the bar. If you don't add resistance, you will not grow. Okay? It's just the reality. I had a mentor one time, he told me, he said, resistance is the multiplier. The more resistance, the more you grow. And the reality is that as we're trying to advance in life to get to the other level, to get to the next level, if you think about being in the weight room, there's resistance. If you're on the 20-pound weights and you couldn't do the 20-pound weights, and now you have to do the 20-pound weights, enough resistance over time, you'll be able to do the 20-pound weights because the next level of what you're trying to achieve requires you to be 20-pound weightlifter. Okay. And the next level probably requires you to be a 40-pound weightlifter. And so you're going to need some more resistance, but you can't get to the next level without having the strength to be able to sustain it. And so the resistance is necessary. The obstacle is necessary. It's not a bad thing. It's just part of the way. You know, as I'm driving to work now, there's all this construction. It's not a bad thing. It's just part of my way. It's just part of my commute to work now. You know, so what I found is that these things aren't always bad. You know, and and these opportunities, this resistance is an opportunity to learn and grow. The resistance forces us to grow because we wouldn't put weight on the bar if it was up to us. I've had a personal trainer. Thank you, Patrick. Um, there's times I don't like Patrick. There's been times in the past where I haven't liked Patrick. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when I see the results, I love Patrick because Patrick put weight on the bar. Patrick put, burpees on my workout schedule. I cannot stand burpees, but guess what? Burpees gets results. So it was just a path to me getting to where I wanted to do to achieve my fitness goals. And listen, I've experienced this resistance in multiple areas of my life. Look, in my relationships, fellas, let me just tell you, my wife and I, we have a marriage right now that I did not think could exist in terms of us just being on the same page, being on the same wavelength, the ability to be able to communicate without arguing, like understanding one another, it's crazy. I didn't know marriage could be like this. However, for us to get to this place, we've been through hell. It's just real. It was part of the path. Success requires struggle, you know? Same thing with my kids, man. I mean, I was, for all practical purposes, an absent dad because I was so focused on success. Cost me my relationship, potentially cost me my relationship with my wife, was costing me my relationship with my children. But we have such a great relationship now, but it wasn't without struggle where it seemed like, things were going the opposite direction in my marriage and in my relationship with my kids when I made the decision to, to go to have a destination and a goal of a healthy marriage and relationship with my kids. It seemed at some point at the beginning, we were going in the opposite direction. This was resistance. This was the obstacle. This was the path to get to where we are now. Same thing with my health, man. When I say, you know what, I got to get my health in order. Like I said, Patrick kicked my tail, man. It was just part of it. I got some tendonitis and I got, things were kind of hurting. But guess what? When I had tendonitis in my elbow, it allowed me to get my legs stronger. You know what I'm saying? So it was just part of the path. Financial challenges, the whole thing, going in the opposite direction. See, it's just part of it. There's this interesting dichotomy. Like you cannot have freedom without some sort of restraint. Like think about it. You cannot have freedom or be freed from something without being enslaved to it. There cannot be freedom without there being some sort of slavery to something. There cannot be light without dark. There cannot be triumph without challenges and trials. And there cannot be success without struggle. It is just part of the path. So what I've learned is that these things that we consider bad and that we consider as almost kind of stop signs on our path are really just part of the path. When we see a stop sign when we're driving somewhere, it is a temporary stop. It is a pause. Really, the stop sign should say pause and go, not stop. Because we don't just stop, we stop momentarily and we keep moving. And that's how it is when we're going through life with all these challenges. Sometimes the only way is the hardest way. Now, sometimes the only way where you're trying to go is the hardest way. And the reality is if you're going after any goal that is worthwhile, anything that you really care about, it is going to have its fair share of challenges, obstacles, and even though you're on the right path, seeming like you're going in the wrong direction. My wife and I were talking about this the other day. My wife is a trail runner. She likes to go and run trails. I can't stand running. When it comes to getting in shape, I'm not a runner. I don't have I'm just not a runner. At least in this season of my life, I'm not. But she likes to run trails, and you know, we were talking about the similarities between trail running and what we're talking about in terms of how I see life, how life is about staying on the right path, even though it may seem to be riddled with going in the opposite or wrong direction. When you look at a trail run, there's a destination that you have to get to. And my wife, I've gone on a couple of these trail runs with her. Um, you know, as you go out on the trail, there are times when you're making turns and literally going the complete other direction, what you would consider the wrong direction. The destination of the end of the trail run is east, and you're going west. And you're going west for a while. And you're wondering, how in the world are we going to get back to where we have to go? But we trust. And here's what's crazy: we're still on the right path. We're on the right path, even though we're going the wrong direction. And we just stay the course. And we continue to have faith that we will end up in the end of the destination that we are. We trust that path. That even though we're going in the wrong direction, we're on the right path to get to where we have to go. Very similar to like I mentioned to you, my current commute to work, to my office. Like there's all this construction, all this detour, and there's sometimes, like, with all this construction, I'm going in the opposite direction of my office. But guess what? I end up getting there despite the fact that it's the wrong direction. It is the right path. So here's the question: how do you ensure that you're on the right path, like the trail run, like the destination and the commute to the office? How do you ensure that you're on the right path despite it seemingly is that you're going in the opposite or wrong direction? How do you ensure that you're on the right path? Got some questions that I want you to ask yourself. So the first one is, do I have a personal relationship with God? Do I have a personal relationship with God? Do I have a relationship in which I trust the person who created the path? See, he's got a path for you already, mapped out, paved along the way. And guess what? Yes, that path is riddled with what appears to be wrong direction in your mind, but it's the right path. But you got to have a personal relationship with God to, number one, entrust and believe that the path that he has set for you is your path, that it is your path, set right for you, set correct for you, even though it seems like it's going in the opposite direction. You've got to have a relationship with him enough to trust the path. I always say this. I'm not telling you to have religion with him. I'm telling you to have relationship with him. Communication, relationship, so that there's trust built. That's how you build trust, is having a relationship with someone. So you got to build that trust. You got to talk to God. You got to have a personal relationship with him enough to be able to trust that, I trust this path that's been made, and I'm going to just keep walking it out. He knows the path better than anyone else. Like, no one knows the right path better than God does for you. No one can tell you, oh man, you know what? You really just ought to you got to get another job. You just have to, you know what? You just need to, move positions, or you need to do that. Right? That may not be your path. Only God knows what's the best path for you. And if that's the case, then you need to have a personal relationship with him so you can ensure you're on the right path. Sometimes on that path, you hit a stop sign. You got to pause for a second, and that's just how it works. But here's what's crazy about this whole thing, crazy and cool, is that he set it up this way so that he can get glory. So at the end of the day, when you get to the destination, you can say, man, you know what? It really wasn't me. Because see, I would have drawn a straight line and just gotten there. But see, if it was set up to where it worked out to where you got to your destination, all by doing what you wanted to do and the way that you thought it was going to work, you're going to give yourself all the glory. And that's what part of the problem with today's day and age is right now is it's all about our story, our glory. And we fail to recognize his hand in all of it. Okay. We think we're doing something, but we ain't doing as much as we nearly think we are. We've got a preset path along the way. We got to have a personal relationship with him. Second question is, do you know someone who has successfully navigated a similar pattern and has gotten to where you're trying to go? Do you know someone who has achieved the financial goals that you're trying to achieve? Do you know someone who has built multiple businesses? Do you know someone who has, who has a very healthy marriage? Do you know someone who's gone down the path? May not be the exact same path, but it's a similar path. Because see, this person knows where the potholes are, and they may be able to accelerate your path for the simple reason of helping you serve as a guide of how to stay on the path. Because see, oftentimes we're questioning whether it's the path so much that we're not moving. Not because there's no path set before us. It's just that we're just not moving confidently along the path. That guide can be like, watch that pothole. There's a snake over here. There's this over here, right? So they can help you navigate through it faster because they've been through a similar path. They can teach you how to think, how to go about it, right? The next question is to help you ensure that you're on the right path, even though it seems like you might be going the wrong direction, is, are you more dependent on the future, on your future results, or your faith for your fulfillment? Is your fulfillment more dependent on your future achievement of the destination, or is your fulfillment more in your faith and getting full fulfillment, your primary fulfillment from your relationship with God? The reason I ask this question is because as we're on this path, so many of us, we don't care about the path. We're thinking, I will be fulfilled once I achieve the goal. See, our fulfillment is directly connected to whether we're successful at achieving our goal or not. And so therefore, we have zero fulfillment or joy or happiness as we're navigating life. And when we hit an obstacle, it's like telling us, I'm not going to get to my goal. So we stress out because we're not fulfilled along the way. We're saying that my fulfillment, I'll be happy once I hit the finish line. I'll be happy once I get the money. I'll be happy once the relationship is better. I'll be happy once I get the promotion. I'll be happy once my business or businesses are doing this. And here's what I'm here to tell you, is that success or fulfillment is not a byproduct of success. Fulfillment is a precursor to success. So fulfillment is one of the things that you need to have as almost like energy along the way. It's one of those things that you need to have that's going to equip you along the journey of your path to help you get to that end goal. It's almost like the fuel that you need to get there. But imagine trying to be on an empty tank. You'll get frustrated trying to get to where you're trying to go because you don't have fulfillment. You need your tank full. You need your cup full along the way. Your cup does not get full once you get there. See, we've got it backwards, man. We got to be fulfilled before we get the success. The fulfillment is needed to achieve, not a byproduct of our success. Otherwise, it's going to make for a long and frustrated path, man. I'm telling you. Be a long and frustrated path, brother. Fourth question is, are you seeing every season of your journey? That's a big one. Are you seeing every different season of your journey to either lead or learn? I wanted to talk about this a little bit earlier, but let's talk about it now. See, in each of these situations that I'm talking about, where you meet resistance or you go the opposite direction, or you meet some obstacle or challenge. So many of us get frustrated during that time, or we get disappointed, or we lose hope. But it's in these times where we have the opportunity to do one or both of these two things, to either lead or learn. To either lead or learn. See, sometimes we're stuck in a situation. We might be at work and we're like, why am I here? Why does God have me here? Or why are things not moving? Like, why am I in this holding pattern? I don't know why God has me here. You may be asking questions like that. And you may not know where to go or what to do, but let me tell you how you can never go wrong if you're in that situation. If you're on that path, you meet obstacle and resistance, and you might be in that season of kind of a holding pattern, or you're facing a lot of resistance. You can never go wrong by either leading or learning. Let me talk about the learning part first. It's a little self explanatory. When you're in that position, you got to look for opportunities to learn. You might not be serving the greatest leader in front of you, but there's something to learn from them. There's something to learn. There's either patience to learn, or there's how to treat other people to learn. And you might have to be able to learn from someone else's mistakes, learn how not to do something, but there is something to learn there. So in any of these holding patterns or obstacles or resistance or feeling like you're going in the opposite direction, there's an opportunity to learn. You can always learn. The other thing that you can do is there's an opportunity to lead. It is highly likely that there's someone there who needs you. Someone needs you to help them get to the next level. So when you're in this holding pattern and stuck, start looking around for opportunities to learn and opportunities to lead. And leading could simply be, I'm going to take somebody by the hand and just show them how to do something. I'm going to train them. I'm going to show them. I'm going to walk with them. Or leading could be that you're simply there to lead by example, by the way that you live. There's some things that I'm going through right now in my office. We're having kind of moving things around from leadership position and restructuring, how we operate in our practice. And I was asking recently, like, I'm wondering why this happened. Like, what's going on? And I said, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to lead by example, to show other people that I work with how to show up, right? How to work with integrity, how to treat other people. Like, this is an opportunity for me to just, if I'm going to be here and there's a lot of resistance and I may not be sure where to go, this is a phenomenal opportunity to just lead by example. There's always an opportunity to learn or lead when we're in these positions on the path where it seems like there's resistance or we're going in the opposite direction. And then last but not least, and this is a big one, oh my goodness. Do you have clarity on what that end destination looks like? Do you have clarity? It is more important that you have clarity on what the destination looks like than you do having clarity on how to get there. You will figure out how to get there. And if you do the other things I talked about in the other 4 questions, if you acknowledge those questions, that will help you navigate getting there. But if you don't know where you're going, brother, let me just tell you, it's gonna be hard. When I say brother, I ain't talking about race. I'm talking about you, my brother, my brother. In like, you're my brother, right? My dude. You listening to this? I'm telling you, it's gonna be more of what the end look. You gotta have clarity on what that looks like. You gotta define it. What do I want this to look like? And a big question of what I want this to look like is, why am I doing this? Am I going after this goal because I want it for me? Am I making excuses saying, well, I just want to provide for my family, but your family really provided for? Is this about you? Or is this about helping somebody else? Like, why am I going after this? Why am I going after this? What do I want it to look like? Who's gonna benefit as a result of me going after this? You gotta have clarity on that end, man. Clarity on the end is way more important than clarity of the path. And so, look, if you set a goal like I said before, anything that's worthwhile, I can guarantee is going to have its fair share of challenges and opportunities and times where it feels like you're going in the opposite direction. But let me tell you something that is so important. It is about mentally managing the turns along the path, because you are going to make a turn. It is inevitable in any goal that you're going after. You're going to hit a turn and it's going to be met with some resistance. That turn is going to take you in the opposite direction, and it's going to require you to have some faith. It's going to require you some fulfillment. It's going to require you to have someone with you, a coach, a guide. It's going to require you to have a relationship with God. It's going to require you to lead or learn during that opportunity. It's going to require you to have some clarity on the end. It's going to require mentally managing the turns of the path that has been set, even though it seems like you're going in the wrong direction. And when you can mentally manage the turns, man, you'll know that even though, here's the cool part, even though the goal is east and I'm going west, I can still sleep really good at night because I know there's an inevitability to it. And that's the magic. That's the part about it, right? And if you do this, you'll now enjoy the journey instead of fighting through it. And again, this is faith, man. This is knowing, like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I just got to keep doing these things that I talked about on this podcast. Fellas, I want you to share this one. I really want you to share this one because this is a big aha moment. You have the opportunity, and more than likely, you are on the right path. Okay. Right? It's just about staying there and navigating and make sure that you stay on the right path despite the fact that you're going the wrong direction.